That was the thing that kept repeating in his head as he stood in the narrow kitchen of his apartment, staring at the crooked knot of his tie like it had personally betrayed him. He tugged once. Then again. The mirror reflected a man who looked put together on paper, clean shirt, decent jacket, shoes without scuffs, but his eyes gave him away. He looked like someone about to step into unfamiliar territory. The microwave clock blinked 6:42 p.m., the numbers glowing too brightly in the dim kitchen. His date was at 8. Plenty of time, he told himself. Still, his stomach refused to listen. Behind him, crayons scraped softly against paper. Lily lay sprawled on her stomach in the living room, tongue peeking out in concentration as she colored a purple unicorn with sparkly wings. Mark watched her for a moment, the familiar ache settling in his chest, the kind that was equal parts love and fear. "You okay, Daddy?" she asked without looking up. "Yeah," he said quickly. "Just fixing my tie." She finally glanced over, head tilting. "You look weird," he snorted. "Thanks. I mean nice weird," she corrected. "Like when grown-ups try too hard." That hit closer than he liked. Mark laughed under his breath and reached for his jacket, only for the zipper to snag halfway up. "No, no, no," he muttered, tugging harder. It refused to move. Of course. He closed his eyes and took a breath. Dating wasn't supposed to feel like defusing a bomb. But after 3 years of being just dad, no late nights, no flirting, no adult risk, everything felt loud and fragile again. From the other side of the wall came the sound of laughter. Emma's laughter. It drifted through the thin apartment walls, warm and easy, followed by the faint clink of a mug being set down. Mark froze. He hadn't even realized how tuned in he'd become to her presence until moments like this, how her daily sounds had woven themselves into the rhythm of his life. She lived next door. Had for 3 years. Somehow, she'd gone from the neighbor to the person Lily waved to every morning. The one who dropped off soup when Mark worked late, the woman who knew which step on the staircase squeaked and which cupboard door in his kitchen stuck. He swallowed. "Lily," he said, forcing casualness, "stay here for 1 minute, okay?" She raised an eyebrow. "You're not backing out, are you?" "What?" "No." She studied him in a way no 8-year-old should be able to. "You should be brave. Mom would want that." The words landed gently, and heavily. Mark smiled, crouched, and kissed her forehead. "I'll be right back." He opened the door. The hallway smelled faintly of laundry detergent and old carpet. Emma's door across the way opened almost simultaneously, as if the timing had been planned. "Oh, hey," she said, surprised. She wore faded jeans and an oversized sweater, sleeves pushed up, hair pulled into a loose ponytail. Comfortable. Real. The kind of woman who never looked like she was trying, and yet always looked right. "You look," she paused, eyes flicking over him, "nice." Mark felt heat creep up his neck. "Thanks. You too." She laughed softly. "I'm in pajamas." "Still counts." Her smile lingered a second longer than usual. "Everything okay?" she asked. "You look like you're about to give a presentation." He hesitated. This was a terrible idea. He knew that. But the words slipped out anyway. "Can I ask you something real quick?" "Sure." He gestured awkwardly at his jacket. "I haven't been on a date in a long time. Like, a long time. And I don't know if I'm doing this right." Understanding softened her face immediately. "Oh," she said. "You're nervous." "A little." "A lot," she corrected gently. He chuckled. "That obvious?" "To me." She shrugged. "Yeah." Something in the way she said it, "to me," made his chest tighten. "I just need a second opinion," he said. "Does this look okay? Is it too much? Too boring? Am I trying too hard?" Emma didn't answer right away. Instead, she studied him, really studied him. Not the polite glance of a neighbor, but the quiet attention of someone who already knew his habits, his tells. The faint crease between his brows when he worried. The way his shoulders carried responsibility like muscle memory. "You know," she said slowly, "you don't usually ask for help." "I do with you," he said without thinking. Her breath caught, just barely. "That's true," she said after a moment. She stepped closer, reaching up to adjust his collar. Her fingers brushed his neck accidentally, or maybe not. The contact was brief, but it sent a jolt through him, sharp and unexpected. "There," she murmured. "Much better." Mark forgot how to breathe. Her hand lingered a second too long. Then she pulled back, crossing her arms as if grounding herself. "The woman you're meeting tonight," she continued, voice steadier than her eyes, is going to have a really nice time. Relief loosened something in his chest. You think? I know. She smiled, but it wavered. Because you're kind. And patient. And you listen. And you love Lily more than anything. He smiled back. Thank you. That, actually helps. There was a pause. The comfortable kind they'd shared 1,000 times, except this one felt different. Charged. Mark, she said softly. Yeah, there's just one thing. He tilted his head. What? Her gaze flicked past him, toward his apartment door. Toward Lily's laughter drifting faintly through the hall. Then back to him. I don't think you should go. The words landed like a dropped glass. What? He asked, startled. Why? She inhaled slowly, visibly steadying herself. Not because you're not ready. And not because you don't deserve this, Emma. But because, she said, voice barely above a whisper, I think you're already looking for something you don't realize you have. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Once. Twice. He didn't move. The hallway felt suddenly too small. Too quiet. Emma, he said carefully, what are you saying? Her eyes met his, open, vulnerable, afraid. I'm saying, she admitted, that every time you knock on my door for help, I wish it was for a different reason. Silence pressed in around them. Mark's heart pounded, loud enough he was sure she could hear it. How long? He asked quietly. She swallowed. Long enough to be afraid of saying it. The phone buzzed again. This time, he let it ring. Part 2, what he chose changed everything. The phone stopped buzzing, not because the date canceled, but because Mark finally pulled it from his pocket and turned it face down in his palm. Emma noticed. Her breath hitched, just barely, like she hadn't expected him to do that. Like some part of her had already been preparing for disappointment. Mark, she said quickly, I shouldn't have said that. I don't want to mess things up for you. You deserve. Emma, he interrupted softly. She looked at him, eyes wide, waiting. You're not messing anything up, he said. You just said something I can't ignore. The hallway felt too small for what was happening. Too quiet. Every sound, his breathing, the hum of the lights, Lily's laughter muffled through the door, felt magnified. Emma crossed her arms, a nervous habit he'd seen 100 times. I didn't mean to put you in this position. I know tonight matters to you. He shook his head slowly. I thought it did. That made her swallow hard. For months, he continued, voice low, I've been telling myself I'm ready to date again. That Lily's older, that life's calmer, that I should move on. Her jaw tightened, not angry, just bracing. But every time I pictured it, he admitted, something felt off. Like, I was trying to step back into a life that didn't quite fit anymore. She didn't speak. She just listened. Always had. Mark leaned back against the wall, running a hand through his hair. Do you know how many times Lily has asked why you don't come over for dinner more often? Emma's eyes softened. She has. All the time, he said with a faint smile. She says you feel like family but not boring family. A surprised laugh escaped Emma before she could stop it. Then her eyes filled. I never wanted to cross a line, she whispered. You were grieving, healing. I didn't want to be someone who complicated that. You didn't, he said immediately. You made it easier. That did it. Her composure cracked, not dramatically, not with tears spilling, but with the kind of quiet vulnerability that came from holding something in too long. I fall asleep to the sound of your apartment, she admitted. Your footsteps. Lily's laughter. I tell myself it's just proximity, just comfort. But then you smile at me over coffee, or ask me for help like I'm the first person you think of, and I feel stupid for hoping. You're not stupid, Mark said firmly. He pushed off the wall, stepping closer. Not touching, yet. You know what scares me? He asked. She shook her head. That if I go on that date tonight, he said, I'll spend the entire time pretending I don't already know what it feels like to be understood. Her eyes searched his face. Mark, are you saying? I'm saying I don't want to choose something safe just because it looks right on paper, he said. I want something real. Silence stretched again, but this time, it felt different. Lighter. Hopeful. Emma exhaled slowly. If you stay, she said carefully, this won't be simple. You have Lily. And I'd never want to confuse her. Or you. I know, he said. That's why I didn't see it sooner. You weren't just in my life. You were part of it. His phone buzzed again. He picked it up, glanced at the screen, and typed a short message. "I'm sorry. Something important came up. I won't be able to make it tonight." He sent it. Then he looked at Emma. "I'm staying." Her breath trembled. "Mark, not because it's easy," he added, "but because it feels honest." She nodded, emotion thick in her throat. "Then we take it slow." "Very slow," he agreed. "Lily comes first. Always." They stood there, neither moving, the weight of possibility settling gently between them. From inside his apartment, Lily's voice floated out. "Daddy, did you forget something?" Mark smiled. "I should probably explain," he said. Emma laughed softly, wiping at her eyes. "Yeah, probably." He opened the door. Lily looked up from her coloring book, eyes darting between them. "You're not leaving." "Not tonight," he said. She grinned. "Good." Then she looked at Emma. "You can stay, too. We're having grilled cheese." Emma laughed, surprised. "Wow. Straight to the big commitment." Mark chuckled. "She doesn't mess around." Emma hesitated only a second before stepping inside. The door closed behind them, not like an ending, but like a beginning.